Garcetti.
Hey, this is Blaze. We're here at the John Burroughs Middle School, and I have with me
Eric Garcetti.
Eric Garcetti, and we're here to do something very important. I'm going to let him do the interview.
Absolutely. Well, we're here today at John Burroughs to talk about the future of this city and the upcoming March 5th election for mayor. I'm one of the candidates for mayor. I've been a city council member for 11 years and a city council president for 6 of those years, revitalizing the heart of LA. And that experience in adding jobs, revitalizing neighborhoods, cleaning up our neighborhoods, having a cut in crime of 2/3, a tripling of the parks is the same leadership I want to bring to this city. So we're going to have a debate today with all of the different candidates, a forum for people to hear our plans. But for me, this is really about getting the city back to work, solving everyday problems, returning a phone call, answering a question, getting things done. And that's the great love of LA and the record that I bring to this race.
All right, this is Blaze at John Burroughs Middle School. We have the principal, Mr.
Steve Martinez.
So, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about the events happening here today?
Well, we are working in partnership with the community and some of the neighborhood councils, along with our student leadership group, to put on a mayoral forum so that people in the city of LA can not only come and see it here live, but also on our webcast at burroughsms.org. We're about to vote in the next leader for our great city, and we're here to hear them out and see what they have plans for LA, what their future of LA looks like.
Talk a little bit about this fine school that's honored today.
Well, this school was established in 1924. We have an API of 877, which is a very good mark for student achievement. It has a tradition of excellence. We have 2,000 students here and staff members. Wow. So it's a big school. We serve a lot of students from the surrounding communities and from Los Angeles. We get students from the Magnet program bus here as well. And since 1924, we've been a part of this community and part of LA.
Are you able to say who you're voting for?
At this time, no, I can't.
Why is this?
Well, I want to hear them out today.
Very good.
All right.
Okay, thank you. I see some Boy Scouts?
Yes, we have the Boy Scouts here from Troop 621 who are going to be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance with Councilmember Tom LaBonge. And you can also see we have LAPD here as well too, who's also serving community service for us today by being here as well.
Okay, and your name one more time?
Steve Martinez, principal of John Burroughs Middle School.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
I was unable to capture everyone, but in a few minutes we'll try to catch up with as many candidates as we can.
I'm Councilwoman Jan Perry, and I'm running for mayor. Election day is March 5th, 2013, so it's almost here. I have been the councilwoman in downtown and South Los Angeles for the last 12 years, building housing for people who need it, bringing jobs to people who need to go back to work, bringing our economy back to life, and building a transportation system on the Exposition line, and working with families and their children to make sure that everybody's child has a chance to have a decent education here in our fine city.
Go ahead and continue that.
So I have a tenacity for problem solving, for looking at the things that are the cracks on the sidewalk, the empty lot that's been there for 2 decades, and getting things moving. You know, if we're going to make this city a place that we're not stuck in traffic, where we have a job that we can get for our children or for ourselves, we're going to have to do things differently. And somebody who's had the track record of being in a leadership position, been mayor before as an acting mayor, been the city council president, that's the difference of what I bring. And looking forward to earning your vote. Thanks, Blaze, for doing the interview, and hope I can earn the support of all your viewers today. Go visit ericgarcetti.com.
And what day should we vote?
March 5th. And if you're an absentee voter, you can already vote now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hey, this is Blaze, and we're speaking with
Emmanuel Alberto Pleites.
And what are the issues today in the debate?
Most important is to fix our fiscal crisis. We need to reform our pension system so we can start investing back into education and training, not just for young people, but for older people as well. We need to provide more housing, more education to employment opportunities for the most vulnerable population, people living in the areas with the highest unemployment rate, the homeless population, veterans. That's what we need to be doing instead of, fighting about the governance and not being able to face up to pension reform.
Please welcome the moderator of today's event, Kevin Roderick.
Thank you, Tom, for coming out today. And first is Wendy Grohl. Wendy Grohl is the city controller of Los Angeles, a job that she won after representing the East San Fernando Valley on the city council. Before winning her first election, she was an executive at DreamWorks, and earlier in her career was a deputy mayor under Tom Bradley and a senior advisor at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Kevin James has been a litigator with Gibson, Dunn & Crutcher, an assistant U.S. attorney in Los Angeles, an entertainment lawyer in private practice, and a radio talk show host in Los Angeles. Jan Perry has been the city council member for the 9th District since 2001. Her district covers some of downtown and South Los Angeles. Before she was elected, she was the chief of staff to city council member Rita Walters, and before that, she worked on the staff of council member Mike Wu. Emmanuel Fleites, after Stanford, Emmanuel Fleites worked for Antonio Villaraigosa as a field aide in his city council office and as his personal assistant. He then worked for Goldman Sachs and pulled a stint on the Obama-Biden transition team and as a special assistant to Paul Volcker and the President's Economic Recovery Advisory Board. 2009, he ran for Congress in the 32nd District on the east side of Los Angeles, and most recently has been the Chief Strategy Officer for a Los Angeles-based tech company. And Eric Garcetti, there at the end, is the City Council member for the 13th District, which includes parts of Hollywood, Silver Lake, Echo Park, and other areas east of here. He was the president of the City Council for several years, and before public office, he taught public policy, diplomacy, and world affairs at Occidental College and at the University of Southern California. So for the first question, let's start here at this end with Wendy Greuel, but it'll go to each of the candidates. And we just want to ask you to speak to the local concerns of the people in this room. And could you tell us what you see as the 2 or 3 most pressing issues for the Wilshire corridor, and what your approach to them would be as mayor?
Well, there are several issues that not only affect the Wilshire corridor, but other parts of Los Angeles. First and foremost, of course, is traffic. And the fact is, of dealing with the kind of traffic that it is on Wilshire Boulevard and the surrounding communities. It is an opportunity we have going forward into doing the subway to the sea to start to begin to address some of that. When I talk about transportation in Los Angeles, it's not only about creating a world-class transportation system, but it's also about making sure that we look at our streets. More times than not, and I've said it many times, people have said to me, if you just pave Wilshire Boulevard, we'll vote for you for anything. Because Wilshire Boulevard is emblematic of the lack of the street repair that we have and what we need to focus in on the core services in the city of Los Angeles. It's also about a community that wants to see walkability and ensure that it's not just about people driving in their cars. It's also about looking in the parking issue. I know there are several locations on Wilshire where people park in the neighborhoods, and how do we address that? That also is related to transportation. Similarly, it is looking at quality of life issues and working with our neighbor councils and stakeholders to ensure that we address the issues of public safety and making sure that we have not only enough officers but firefighters in Los Angeles. Because our fire department has been woefully underfunded in the last several years, and the response times, as many of us have read, are critical to the future of Los Angeles. I think the third issue that I would talk about in this community, in this neighborhood, of course, is education. We're here at John Burroughs Elementary School, and their API score, they proudly have that button that shows they've made some progress in addressing educational opportunities. And so I would say the 3 main things is 1, traffic and transportation. It is also about, like I said, education and about public safety. And last but not least is ensuring that the stakeholders are part of any of the decision-making process. This is an active group, and you see all of the entities that are represented here today. You see that they care about their neighborhood. They care about whether it be their streets, their trees, their potholes, their parking, and they've been an active participant in that. So I look forward to supporting them and supporting our neighborhood council development going forward as I have in the past.
Kevin James, would your list be different?
Thank you, Kevin. People wonder, with all of the tax money that comes in, why are they not getting any results? It's because of the fiscal mismanagement of the city of Los Angeles. So, obviously, traffic for the Wilshire corridor. There's another major issue. There are too many space available signs along Wilshire Boulevard and in neighboring areas. It is about jobs. And as mayor, you must create a business-friendly environment. And I will do so. I talk often about my business improvement package, which includes 2 things primarily: the elimination of the gross receipts tax. I do say, that's where they take money off the top. There are two groups that seem to get away with that, the City of Los Angeles and the Mafia. So you would think that it might be something that we can reform. They flirted with reforming it, made some progress along the way, but we haven't got it done yet. I will, as mayor, and if the city council won't cooperate, then I'll go around the city council, put it on the ballot, and bring it to them with the people. And finally, streamlining the permitting process. It can't take 10, 12, 15 departments for new businesses that want to open in our city, including the Wilshire Corridor, or for those businesses that want to expand and improve their business. You do so by creating a one-stop shop like the permitting center that they did in Dallas. Thank you, Ken.
Dan Perry?
I'll take that.
Oh, you can stop me this time. Thank you again to all of the member organizations who put this event together. My name is Jan Perry, and I think I have a unique perspective on this community, the Miracle Mile and the Park Mile, because I lived here many, many years ago. Started off on housing, then moved over to Longwood. So I know how important the community plans are to preserve the historic character of these communities, to make sure that the trees are trimmed, the street lights are lit, and whenever possible to have historic street lights that again reflect the historic nature of these communities, and to make sure that your money is spent wisely and that your sidewalks are repaired so that you can walk to Larchmont, you can walk to the Miracle Mile and enjoy the community to the fullest extent possible. I also understand and know that traffic is always and has always been a major concern for these communities. Beautiful communities surrounded by densely populated urban areas, surrounded by major transportation corridors. Traffic coming in and out of people's neighborhoods, cutting through people's neighborhoods will always be a concern. And as mayor, I'm aware of that. I want to protect that and to make sure that while we need to stimulate our economy, and to make sure people are shopping in our neighborhoods and spending money and generating more sales tax, more money for our general fund, it's important that people still enjoy the quality of life, which is what brought you here to this community in the first place. For many of you, you have never left, and you're on the second and third generation. And then of course, all of that rolls into our budget and our structural deficit. For myself, I've been focused on talking about getting our employees back to the table to give back on their health care costs, on their pension contributions, to the level of fire and police, so that we can immediately move forward and resolve at least 40+ million of our structural deficit and take a giant leap forward and keep pushing so that we can be on firm financial footing to the benefit of everyone in the entire city.
So the issues here on Miracle Mile, Wilshire Boulevard, all the way up and down are similar to a lot of the rest of the city. Three things on my end that I think would hit the right chord here. It's transportation, traffic, and increasing mass transit options. It's public safety, increasing the public safety force, not just police officers, but more people that are going to be engaged in the community. And lastly, education and training. On transportation, look, we need to look at every major infrastructure project and look at public-private partnerships. Anything that has a revenue stream, that has money coming in, we need to be looking at private ways to finance it as well. We can't wait for big rail projects that we announce that take decades, but we also need to be having short-term solutions, such as more bus lanes, dedicated bus lanes. We need to create more pedestrian-friendly zones. We need to have more bike share, car share type programs.
To represent the beginnings of a new era in City Hall. And that makes this election pretty important. So we hope today that you learned something valuable about all the